So to start this Raw rating conversation, we first would have to go back 2 weeks ago when Monday Night Raw pulled a 1.6 semod, right? That's important because that was with no football competition, guys. There was no Monday Night Football. They went from the 1.8 to the 1.7 to a 1.6. This was all without football they were dropping, right? To a 1.6. The following week, Monday Night Football is back. It's their big season premiere, the opener, Aaron Rodgers, right? A lot of fans have convinced themselves that the NFL absolutely just crushes professional wrestling. Why bother even competing? Don't bother looking at the numbers. It's the NFL. What are they supposed to do, BC? Pro wrestling is doomed, right? Absolutely not. Nobody's expecting pro wrestling to beat the NFL these days, by the way. Obviously, pro wrestling is not as big, not as popular as it once was. Yes, in the Attitude Era, pro wrestling would smash NFL in the mug. It's a different time, I get it. But you absolutely put your best foot forward and you compete. So a 1.6 without football 2 weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers is then back. It's the season premiere of Monday Night Football. And WWE pulled a 1.4 semod. They went down approximately 200,000 viewers. Everybody blamed that 200,000 on football. But if you look at the trajectory of WWE Raw, they were losing viewers without Monday Night Football. So I'm not going to give you the full 200,000. Maybe I'll give you $1.50 because it's Aaron Rodgers, it's the season premiere. But they went from a 1.6 without football to a 1.4. This week, WWE Raw pulled in a 1.5 semod. 1.5. So they actually went up. They went up against football. So again, if you keep that same energy and you say it's football that is crushing Monday night's ratings for Raw, that's the reason Raw is not getting good ratings. Again, I ask you just to go to 2 weeks ago when they pulled a 1.6 with no football. This week, a 1.5 with football. So are you saying that 100,000 viewers is why WWE is helpless against football? Why even bother competing? They're going to lose 100,000 viewers anyway, BC. And with Aaron Rodgers in the season premiere of Monday Night Football, they lost 200. This is showing you that WWE Raw is just not captivating, whether there's football or not. NFL is on or not. Monday Night Raw is not doing it for the fan base. That's what it's telling us. Now, if you listen to my Raw review this week, we did it live yesterday. I was so glad I was able to after 6 attempts, able to go live. It was a really good review, and there was several segments back to back to back, 4 segments in a row that I actually enjoyed, captivated by. Maybe that's another story, but they were decent. Couple of them were good. That's a start. It could be the reason you got the 100,000 back and competed loosely. I'll put that in quotes. You're not getting the number NFL's getting, obviously, but competed in terms of with yourself against football. You know, get back to the 1.6 that you got when there was no football, for instance. That's what I mean by competing. So maybe because it was a little bit of a better show this week, you know, they gained viewers. With or without football, you have to put your best foot forward for your show. You can't just curl up in a ball because football is on. This show was a lot better than last week or the week before or the week before. And that's going to show in the ratings. When a show is decent to good, people are going to put the remote down more quickly, right? Oh, all right, this ain't bad. Oh, 2 segments in a row now. Oh, did you just see what Bronson and Braun did? You know, things like that help out. So when people say that NFL just clobbers professional wrestling and there's nothing they can do, I've been telling you guys for the years I've been creating content on this platform and talking pro wrestling with you guys. I told you can't just blame NFL for low ratings. It starts with the show, the enthusiasm for the show, the excitement for that show. Are fans captivated? Is it must-see TV or easily skippable TV? And that's where WWE has to do a lot better, man. Focus on what you're doing. Put together your best show imaginable. And you're going to pull the rating that you pull, man. NFL, what these numbers show us, guys. 1-6 with no competition. 1-4 with the season premiere with Aaron Rodgers. And they only went from the 1-6 to the 1-4. And then this week, they're back to a 1-5. They're within 100,000 viewers away from the same rating that they pulled with no football with football. This is what I've always told you guys, and I never steer you guys wrong, man. Even when it's discussions that some fans don't want to have, or they don't want to believe it, or they don't agree with you, I'm always right on these conversations because I've done my research, man. You just look at the trends, the trajectories, the numbers, the metrics, the statistics, everything will provide the facts to tell us what is working and what is not. WWE can right now, even in 2024, with cord cutting, with streaming services, with everyone watching highlights the next day. WWE, trust me, these studies have already been done internally with Nielsen and those of the like. And it shows that something like pro wrestling should be pulling in 2.2 to 2.4, bare minimum, 2.2 to 2.4 in 2024. There's no excuse to pull in 1.6 without any big competition like football. Nothing. It shows you that they are off the pace between 600,000 to 800,000 viewers. Why? And again, that's bare minimum. If your show's really good, you can start talking 2.5 to 3 million viewers in 2024. They're well off the pace, guys. So every time I hear people go, oh, it's football, man, WWE's doomed, there's nothing they can do. They're just going to try to hold on tight until football's over, and then we're going to get a better WWE BC. Guys, 1-6 without, 1-5 with. Stop. Do you guys finally see that WWE's ratings, they don't just hang on whatever football is doing. A pro wrestling audience, we learned this in the Attitude Era, man, when more people were watching wrestling than football. We learned that a pro wrestling audience wants to watch pro wrestling. Our last channel button, we'll flick that over to Monday Night Football on ESPN. Absolutely. During wrestling commercials, or if something exciting is happening on the game, we'll stay a little bit longer. Halftime for sure, halftime. Then you're switching over to wrestling. But we'll switch over, we'll have that on the last channel button. But a pro wrestling audience wants to watch professional wrestling, man. And these numbers prove it. I always say that when it's a discussion like that, what do the facts say? Our opinions not even BC's. My opinion, I take my opinion, I'll flush it down the toilet. I don't even care about my own opinion. The first thing I do is I look at the facts. What's working, what's not, what do the numbers tell us? So that's a huge conversation. When I saw that go up to the 1.5, I'm like, you're right next to the 1.6 you were pulling without it. So how is football crushed? If that's the case, then pro wrestling right now, this week, would be at a 1-1-1-2. 1-6 without, now football's back, right? You're telling me they're going to lose 400,000 to 500,000 viewers. That's what getting clobbered and crushed is, not 100,000 viewers. Interesting, 1.5 rating, right next to what they were pulling without football. And even at their high end, for those wondering, like when they were pulling in their high-end numbers in the recent months, it was 1.718, guys. 1.7 to 1.8 was their high-end mark. That's what I mean. They just have to don't worry about NFL. Don't even talk NFL. Just focus on what you're doing. Your show, put out the best show imaginable, and then try to creep toward that 2 million. By then, you're already going to be on Netflix. But for those that think that numbers aren't going to matter once they go to Netflix, they're going to matter even more. Netflix spent a lot of money. We're about to talk about that in a second because we're going to talk AEW's TV deal. And a lot of people want to compare it for some reason with WWE. That's not even fair. That's not even fair. We'll talk about that. But Netflix paid a lot of money, and they're going to be looking at those streaming hours, right? They're going to be looking at the ad because there's going to be advertising. There's going to be commercials, guys, even though it's on a streaming service. Even though it's Netflix, if you think there's not going to be ads, think again. They're going to want to get a return on investment from all areas. They're going to try to get all that money back and then some. And they want to work with the right advertisers. They want enough advertisers. They want enough streaming hours. They're going to be looking at those numbers, man. And if Raw is not showing, or not holding up their end of the bargain. Do you guys realize that this is a 10-year deal with Netflix, but after 5, there's an opt-out clause? Do you know why Netflix put that in there? Because they saw what happened with Fox. They heard what the Fox vice president said. They don't feel that WWE gave them enough return on their investment. They don't feel like the deal worked out for them. By the time WWE left Fox, they were at a 1.7 on broadcast television. Netflix was like, all right, we'll give you 5 up front, but we have the right to get the heck out of that deal after those 5 years. We'll actually talk about that in a minute. But numbers matter. I always try to say that, man. Numbers matter. It's the reason every single Thursday morning, Tony Khan is right there in front of the computer with 2 coffees waiting for the number to come out. It's the reason the advertisers appear on what shows at what time that they want to appear at. The numbers tell them where to best put their advertisements. It's how these channels and these networks, they make that money. Numbers, man. 1.5. With football.